Hi, how are you children? Okay, fine. What did we study in our previous class? Can you recollect? Yes. In our previous class, we studied structure and function of human heart. We studied about a circulatory system, human transport system. Human transport system consists of how many components? Two components. Which are they? Blood vascular system and lymphatic system. Blood vascular system and lymphatic system. And we studied about the structure and function of human heart. Okay. Today we have to continue the same topic. You understood that in human heart there is right side and left side. And this right side and left side, it is separated. There is one clear separation of right side and left side. And this separation is very useful. What's the use, can you say? Yes. There should not be the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. This separation allows highly efficient supply of oxygen to the body. Animals such as birds and mammals, they require high energy to maintain their body temperature. So, there should not be mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Whereas, in animals like amphibians and reptiles, the heart has 3 chambers. In such animals, some mixing of blood can be tolerated. Whereas animals like fish, the heart has only 2 chambers. The blood is pumped to gills and then supplied to body. In other vertebrates, the heart has 4 chambers and there is no mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Blood passes twice through heart. Once through right side as deoxygenated blood and again through left side as oxygenated blood. Okay. Human blood circulation is double circulation. Human blood circulation is double circulation. Okay. Then blood vessels. In our transportation system, there are mainly 3 types of blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. These arteries, they take away blood from heart to different body parts except pulmonary artery. And from heart, when blood enters in arteries, there will be high pressure. So, arteries walls are thick and also elastic. In order to protect from bursting of arteries, there is thick wall and elastic nature. Whereas veins collect blood from different body parts. It means deoxygenated blood, they collect from different body parts and bring back to heart. And there is, in veins, there is no problem of pressure. So their walls are thin-walled blood vessels. Veins are thin-walled blood vessels. But there are valves in veins. What's the purpose of these valves? In order to prevent the backward flow of blood, there are valves in veins. Okay. And also there are capillaries. These capillaries are smaller blood vessels. From arteries, blood reaches in capillaries and through capillaries it will be supplied to different body organs. Okay. Through capillaries, the exchange of gas takes place through capillaries. And also in blood, we can see one more component, that these components are platelets, blood platelets. Okay. And when blood circulates through blood vessels, sometimes there may be leakage. If any injury happens, there may be leakage of blood. So that time what will happen? These platelets, they help to clot the blood at these points of injury, so that protecting our body from leakage of blood. So blood platelets are some important components in our blood. There is one more type of fluid also involved in transportation, that is lymph or tissue fluid. Lymph or tissue fluid. When blood flows through these blood vessels or these capillaries, sometimes there may be leakage of some components. For example, from capillaries, the walls of capillaries have minute pores. So from capillaries, sometimes plasma may escape, or some protein content may escape. And these escaping plasma or protein content, they enter from capillaries to the intercellular space of the tissue. And from these intercellular space, what will happen? They enter in lymph vessels, or they drain to lymph vessels, and this liquid, this content of the blood is called the lymph or tissue fluid. So actually tissue fluid is some escaping part of the blood from capillaries through the minute pores of capillaries walls. They may be protein, some content of protein or some plasma content. Then from intercellular space they drain into lymph vessels. Okay, and this is about lymphatic system in our body. Lymphatic system. So here is a schematic representation of transport and exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. In the figure, blue color represents deoxygenated blood on the right side and red color represents oxygenated blood on the left side. Vena cava from body collects deoxygenated blood and brings to right atrium. From right atrium, this blood drains into right ventricle. From right ventricle, pulmonary artery carries this blood and supplied to lungs through capillaries for purification. In the lungs, alveoli contain oxygen which mix in the blood and enters in pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein carries this oxygenated blood from lungs to the left atrium. From left atrium, the blood drains into left ventricle. From left ventricle, aorta supplies the blood to different parts of body through arteries. On reaching an organ or tissue, the artery divides into smaller and smaller vessels which are one cell thick called capillaries. Exchange of material, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide, takes place through these capillaries. The capillaries then join together to form veins that convey the blood away from the organ or tissue. Circulation of blood consists of systemic circulation and pulmonary circulation. Systemic circulation and pulmonary circulation. When the blood passes through blood vessels, the blood exerts pressure on their walls. This pressure is called blood pressure. It is much greater in arteries than in veins. The pressure of blood inside the artery during ventricular systole or contraction is called systolic pressure. The pressure in artery during ventricular diastole or relaxation is called diastolic pressure. The normal systolic pressure is about 120 mm of mercury and diastolic pressure is 80 mm of mercury. Blood pressure is measured with an instrument called sphygmomanometer.